Hey Leo, it's Empress Rose here. Welcome to your reading. These are general readings. We take what works, leave what doesn't. If this one doesn't work at all for you, go find your other major placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. And we're starting off with the Oracle decks for an intuitive vibe of where we're going, and then we'll move on to a more traditional tarot spread. One popped out, and then two were just sticking way out there and called my name, so I did it. I grabbed them. So we have stranded. Is stranded in a long way home. You have got yourself into a little bit of a pickle, Leo, and it's going to be a while before you can figure out exactly how this all ends and what ends up. You're stuck here in this tree for a long time. Look at this. Everything's up in the air with both of these cards. Look at, they both, oh my gosh, they both have this up anchor here. This ungrounded energy, this sort of anything can happen energy. Well, you're stuck. So I think what we're doing here with this card is taking out the mobility of this card. So this card would normally be like, oh, you know, you're going somewhere, you're headed somewhere. You're not going to be able to figure out exactly where or how things are going to end up or how things are going to land. But you are on a journey and it's a long way home. But this card to me is negating, we're crossing out, nope, it's not really a journey. You're not really going anywhere. You're kind of stuck somewhere and you don't know how you're going to get out of it. And you can't precisely see, and it's going to take a really long time. So we're talking more about moving on from this situation and that taking a long time before you're grounded again, before you feel comfortable again, before you're back in your comfort zone and you feel like you know what you're doing. Both of these cards talk about a commitment having been made. That's what I get with the up anchor, a commitment having been made. And now you're kind of stuck with it. Kind of stuck with this, with something that happened. And you might be at a distance from someone. There's like a sense of isolation here. And not being able to get back to your comfort zone. And that's going to take a minute. Okay, so with stranded, number 44 with stranded, we have taking on more than you were able to chew, biting off more than you were able to chew here, and taking on more than you were capable of. You may have not paid attention to the lessons. You may not have studied for this. You may not have, but you were ambitious. You were very ambitious. And you wanted to accomplish something. You maybe wanted to be the youngest to sail around the world or something like that. You wanted to accomplish something. You had huge ambitions, which is not wrong to have big ambitions. But something happened, something came along that was out of your control. And this whole thing, there's a lot here that's out of your control. And who even knows if you had more expertise, if you paid attention to class, if you'd actually had a mentor for a while to help show you the ropes of what you were trying to do. Who knows if even if you had all of that, years and decades of experience, if you still wouldn't have ended up in the same spot. Because there's a sense of whatever happened here was a little bit weird, a little bit supernatural. Yeah, it was kind of supernatural. It's never going to happen like that again. It's not going to happen like that again. But something big and cataclysmic came along and it put you in a really weird spot. And you are partially to blame for this. I mean, you are. Because there's a different card if you were completely not to blame for this. But this is you made decisions. You made decisions and you made choices that put you up here, left you high and dry. You are stranded. You know what? I'm also seeing a possibility, another possible storyline here with these cards of being abandoned, like almost in your moment of need, being abandoned or feeling very alone. You're very alone in both of these cards. We have you very alone, stranded. Oh, maybe this a long way home is actually canceling out the stranded. It's not that you're not moving. It's that you're moving very slowly and unpredictably. It's not that you're completely stuck. You are sort of alone. You have sort of made a commitment to something. You're not right where you wanted to be. Maybe that's what's going on here, is you actually are moving towards where you want to be, but you're feeling very stuck and stranded. So if you're feeling stuck and stranded, then you need to, and abandoned, you need to know that you haven't been completely abandoned. Your companions are over here. They might actually be going through a similar thing of what you're going through, and they're over here. So you maybe aren't abandoned, just help is not available. Help is on the way. You're getting there very slowly. So if you are feeling abandoned or alone in this, you are getting out of it. You are getting slowly out of it. It's going to take a while, and it's going to take some work. And this card always brings up that we may have to cut some things loose. We may have to abandon the ship. You're abandoned, and you may have to end up abandoning this ship, abandoning a project, abandoning something in order for you personally to get out of this situation, to get unstuck and to move on. You may have to give up something big. Not something minor. You may, in order for you to move on and move forward, you may have to give this up. It may take quite a while to do that. So in both of these, I see a lot of unpredictability. I see a sense of being alone. I see a sense of being stuck on some sort of path that maybe you don't want to be on. Okay. So I see, you sort of feeling alone in this process. This is saying you're not entirely alone. And this other card is always like help is on the way, but the help may actually be experiencing its own problems as well. So it may be on a similar type of unpredictable journey where they're not in charge and in control of every aspect of it. So both of these cards, though, have things are way up in the air. Things aren't coming down for a while. One has you moving slowly towards a goal. You may or may not make it. One has you completely stuck. But I do see you having to let go of something in order for you to go forward. In order for you to move forward, you're going to have to let go of something that might feel a little big. But there is this sense of this is a unique event. It's not like this happens every day. And there's a promise that it won't ever happen like this again, and that you are going to be getting out of it. But it's not stuck. It may feel stuck. If it feels stuck, it's not. It's actually moving, but very slowly. And there's no guarantees. Well, I mean, we all know that. There are no guarantees here. But here, as in life, also my readings. So, or anybody's readings, really. Like, there are no guarantees. So, but it does look like there is movement. It may not feel like it, though. You feel pretty alone in the process. If you have companions, they're with you on a similar journey, but they might not be able to reach you. They might not be able to be part of your journey right now. But help is on the way. But I feel like the help is having its own issues too. So, and then we have Moon Dance. So you are in the middle of something. You're in the middle of this journey, right? We have a long way home. We already have, so we're referencing here a journey. You are moving forward. However slow and non-guaranteed and herky-jerky it may be. You are moving forward. You have your intuition guiding you. You have 3 little birds here telling you everything's going to be all right, okay? And then you aren't necessarily perfectly suited for this journey, but it's not as dangerous as it feels. Again, we have a balloon elevating you, keeping you up, keeping you elevated. So we have something where you're not going to fall. And even if you do, you're going to gently glide down to the ground. So there's a safety mechanism here. I feel it has to do with spirituality or intuition or something like that. There's a safety mechanism. Like, I feel like the universe is like, we got you. We got you. You might have to give up something kind of big in order for us to like really catch you here, because you can't go anywhere as long as you're tethered to this big debacle. You can't move forward. You are moving forward, but it's going to take some release. So anyway, again, we have them moving forward. You are moving forward. It does feel slow and precarious, and yet there's some sort of safety feature. The safety feature isn't that there's a net. The safety feature is your intuition and your spirituality that aren't going to let you crash and break your neck, okay? So I see protection here. I see care and compassion. It's not in your face. It's not very obvious. It's very small. We have small little birds here. We have a small little companion over here. We have a small little rainbow here. So looking for those signs that you are being supported, that you are being protected, but this is going to take a while to undo. That was a really interesting message for me anyway to receive. All right, Leo, this is your past, your present, your inner landscape. What's the issue, environment, to-do list, possible outcome? I cannot believe this, you guys. This guy, no wonder he's tired. He's shown up in every reading this week. No wonder he's exhausted. Everybody's exhausted or hitting a wall here, or wanting to quit something, wanting to be done with something, and yet the journey goes on and on and on and on. And yeah, I can't believe that. 9 of Wands, here he is again. Amazing. Oh, and this Cancer just got this one. Different spot though. 6 of Wands. This is parade energy, celebrated. You may have been celebrated for something in the past. This is your recent past. Congratulations were in order. People were celebrating. This is parade, victory, and the parade. The parade is in your honor. So this is a bit of like people singing your praises. People, your victory was other people's victory. Maybe this is when you set sail on this ship and everybody showed up with their champagne to see you off and enjoyed the celebration of watching you succeed and watching you launch something, and enjoyed that celebration. Very celebrated here. Your accomplishment was celebrated. Your community was with you. Your community had your back. Your success was your community's success. There's a lot of collective joy here and collective and lots of people benefiting from your success and enjoying your success. So you may have come up with a project or an idea or a business plan, and lots of people benefited from that. Your current situation, though, has you reviewing something. You may be going back to the beginning of something, going back to the origins of this success or something else. There's something from your past here. The 6 of Cups always references something from our past, something very emotional from our past, coming back. It almost looks to me like it wasn't attended to. There was an offer back there that wasn't received. Maybe you were distracted. Maybe you had other things on your mind at the time. Maybe you were focused, or somebody here was very focused on something else. And there was an offer given, and this almost has a 4 of Cups vibe to me too here. Just there's an offer here, and someone's just very absorbed. There's a lot of imagination play, but there's sort of a power disparity, maybe unperceived by the players themselves, by the people themselves. Maybe they saw themselves as, we're both children, but there was actually someone who had a lot more experience and a lot more power here. And then there's like this request going on, and this again is something from your past. There's some sort of somebody wanting to give something to someone, something creative, something that they'd made. They wanted to give it, but it wasn't received. I feel like there's just this incomplete transaction from your past. And it was done in joy, in imagination, from the heart. There was some sort of connection there's a missed connection here, back here. And whether that's romantic or career-wise, it could be a bunch of different things. But there's a misconnection back there. Someone was trying to offer someone something else, something from the heart, and the other person was maybe stuck in their head about it, maybe trying to figure it out, more interested in how they imagined things to be, or more interested in or I just feel like someone was in their heart space and someone was in their head space, and the two were not able to connect in what should have been or could have been, what could have been in some other universe, some sort of really great connection of, oh, I have this, you have this. There's like a kindredness here. There's a kindred spirit or a kindred, something that matches, and yet someone was very up in their head about it and made decisions about it that were more intellectual and less creative and emotional, and I want to say like life-giving, right? Like, because water is very life-giving, and so there's something that was out of the flow. It's not wrong to be up in your head. It's not wrong to think things through, but there was a misconnection because someone was overthinking something. And your hopes, your fears, your inner landscape, 2 of Swords. So in your inner landscape, we could be talking about denial. You're in denial about something. Maybe denial about whatever role you played back here, and this connection or reconnection with something from your past. There's some kind of, there's been some denial. And maybe the denial was just like, oh yeah, look at that. Yeah, the emotional connection here. But turning your back on the intuitive emotional connection, Two of Swords would definitely be an overthinking vibe. Because the intuition calls here, but it's so faint it can barely be heard. There's some stubbornness here. You might be afraid or worried about someone else being stubborn. You might be worried and afraid about, you might be hoping you can have some stick-to-itiveness or you can have some stubbornness. Stubbornness is very beneficial many times, right? We have to be stubborn in order to be successful, sticking with something through all of the failures. So you could be hopeful for some stubbornness, but it almost looks like there's some denial here. This is thinking about something, knowing something in your heart, but talking yourself out of it, thinking about it, right? Denial is really important. I'm not dissing denial, actually. It's a crucial skill, life skill. When our psyches are not ready to hear something that we just heard, that we just saw, when they're not ready to do that or engage with that, you know, we put it on the back burner, and so denial, though, requires that you already saw something, and then you can lock it out. But you did see it. You saw it. You saw it. You knew what it was, and you shut it out, or you're worried you're shutting it out. You might be realizing that you're in denial. You might be worried about someone else's denial, refusal. There was some sort of, and the swords being intellect, the swords being communication. Someone may have gone silent. You might be worried about someone not talking to you anymore. You might be worried about, there's just a stubborn refusal to be open. There's a closed offness. And this is your inner landscape. So this could be you, or this could be a fear you have about somebody else. Not talking about it, being closed off. It was already seen. It's already seen. The cat already is out of the bag, so to speak. And everyone's still pretending the cat's in the bag. Or you are. Somebody else is. No, the cat is definitely in that bag. Like the paper bag. That's what I'm seeing. Not a plastic bag or a garbage bag. I'm seeing a paper bag. Cat still is in the bag. But no, the cat's not in the bag, is it? Cat's out of the bag, but nobody wants to admit that. And then we have Magician in reverse for what's at issue here. Not being able to bring something to fruition. Could be because everyone's in denial about it, but something's just not happening. Something you wanted to happen, something you wanted to manifest, something you wanted to make happen. It's like maybe this thing that you were thinking about, you wanted to make it happen and it just didn't happen. Or you wanted this, you wanted to sail, you wanted to fly, you wanted this magical, amazing thing to happen. Little boy Wonder here was going to steer this ship to the stars, and everyone was going to parade and praise and all of that. And it did not happen. Oh, it did not happen. It's not happening. You weren't able to, you were maybe able to bring it in for a moment. And then I think you got up in your head and cut some stuff off, cut some intuition off. Your intuition's still here, though. It's still here guiding you through this night, through this darkness, through this difficulty. You think you've cut it off maybe, but you haven't. You think you've silenced it, but it's actually still here guiding you, trying to. This intuition comes up multiple times here. You're in denial about it, but it's here. It's still here, and it's actually what's going to keep you from crashing to the ground, right? All of these have you at quite a height, quite an ungrounded, imbalanced, up in your head, basically, is what I'm seeing with these two cards. Like this Six of Cups came in really different for me. Somebody's up in their head, and it's you. You're way up in your head, and you're denying, in a way, your intuition. And this intuition keeps popping up here like little polka dots. Little polka dots of intuition coming in here, trying to tell you, trying to let you know something. In your environment, 8 of Cups, there's a sense of moving on. There's maybe an opportunity to move on, to move forward to something that's more satisfying to you. Here's the intuition. It's right here. It's right in front of you. It's calling to you. And you have an opportunity to follow it, right? These 8 of Cups, very satisfying to lots of people, but you have an opportunity here, and you think that, and there's an opportunity in your environment for better satisfaction, for something more satisfying. It maybe doesn't make sense. It's maybe illogical. It's maybe like everybody else is like, these 8 cups are fabulous. I don't understand why you don't like these 8 cups. You don't like the 8 cups, and you're like, no, I like the 8 cups. I just think there's more. I just think there's a possibility for more than 8. I have a hunch there might be 10. So on that hunch, you have an opportunity here. I think you see it, but it requires you leaving what you have to go get what you don't have yet. So your to-do list. Okay. Well, yeah. Your to-do list here. Page of Swords. So you are to communicate. You don't know very much. You don't know how to do it. You don't know what you're doing. But you have some sort of truth. This could also be going back to school. This could also be, the swords can be intellect and communication. So this could be going back to school or hitting the books, learning about something, learning about how to communicate. Like you might not know how to communicate what it is, but it's very intellectual, which I find really fascinating. I find it very fascinating because the whole message I've gotten up to this point is you're way too up in your head here about something where, not too, I mean, there's an undeniably ungrounded energy here. There's mistakes have been made, issues have happened. It's going to take a long time to unravel this and get out of this. And it's all happening like way up high in imagination land, in some sort of theoretical sense. And then we have Page of Swords, your to-do list. We've got a cow that's, jumping over the moon. Here, we've got a cow that's leaping through the air, that's as ungrounded as it gets. We have a butterfly flying, very intellectual energy. Do you stay here? Yeah, you're staying here. You're staying up. It's almost like whatever issues are up here in your ideas, in your head, the answers might be up in your head too. What? Like, keep thinking. But maybe with some humility, like maybe you don't know what you're talking about, because the page is the learner, the beginner, right at the beginning, right? You don't know what you're talking about. So admit that, and then start from the beginning. Start as a beginner. Okay, you were a beginner and you pretended to be an expert here. So one way to get out of this situation is to realize you don't know anything. Let this all go, what you thought you knew, and then start from the beginning of learning something all over again. Start at the beginning here. You're actually, admit that you actually are a little page here. You are a student. You don't know everything that you're talking about. So being willing to learn and being willing to communicate inexpertly, but communicate somehow. Maybe not the best communication you're ever gonna do, but you got to start somewhere. So the page is a little bit, you got to start somewhere. And I see like you've got to restart somewhere because maybe you got a little ahead of yourself on something and you have to get back to beginner mind. Like the swords are mind, and you need to get back to beginner mind. Oh, that's right, my video cut out, so it's getting a little long. Where you're headed, keep going. You're tired, you're sick of it, you want to go home, but you got to keep going. So this journey's going on for a while, right? A long way home. Stranded moon dance. Some of this is super fun. Here's the wounded warrior. Keep going, keep going, keep going. You got to keep going even though you want to quit. There's something here that you're not going to be able to quit. You've got to keep going. You've got to keep moving. You're kind of tired. You're going to get tired. You're going to get tired of it. And you're going to get sick of being stranded up here. But as I said from the beginning, this is not something that's going to be easy to get out of or easy to move forward on. You're easy to land. You're in the middle of something here. It's not easy. It's actually quite difficult. You're going to be okay. You are going to land. But it is a kind of exhausting journey, and there's a lot of disappointment and wounds along the way. But you've got to get into beginner mind here. What are you missing? What did you miss the first time? Rethink it. Start over. Okay, well, I hope that that was helpful, Leo. Not the cheeriest reading I've ever gotten in my life. So anyway, thank you for your likes, subscribes, and comments.